digging into the dispatch part, how has that experience been, given that that is something that you launched for the first time, for your brand this year in the middle of everything that's going on this year? How has it been to introduce delivery like that into stores that weren't used to it, and also adjusting to a lot of other things?
Our target for at least the operator side, the store side, was we didn't want them to feel any difference, whether it be a third-party delivery pickup or a Panda Delivers pickup, a dispatch pickup. And so that's how we've measured success. And in general, that worked out really well. So if you go onto our website and you select delivery, we use your dispatch platform, delivery as a service, and providing that's even a tighter expectation, because now it's not like a third-party delivery is delivering it. Right now, our guests, when they come, they expect, Panda, you are delivering this to me. And so the interaction of how we handle edge cases, problems, is really critical. And as a result of that, I think operations feels like this is a strong value add to our organization. What that gives us is an opportunity to be closer with our guests, because we have the information. We're brokering that entire relationship along the way, and we get to know our guests better, and then hopefully delight them more in future opportunities.
Maybe let's flip it around for a second and talk about the marketplace and indirect ordering side. Since you're also leveraging our Rails product and listing yourselves in marketplaces and accepting orders, often from those same delivery providers, but through their marketplaces. What is your experience with working and trying to maintain customer experience in that sort of world? And also, just has 2020 shifted the way that you think about indirect ordering for Panda Express?
Yeah, I would say that the marketplace has an important role in our overall strategy. It's an opportunity for us to participate with customers that perhaps wouldn't gone to Panda Express directly. And so working through the Olo platform and working with the third-party delivery, it's important for us to, as much as we can, match that experience so that it is just as easy to order from Panda Express as it is through these third-party delivery platforms. In terms of how we think about it for 2020 and forward, Panda is always interested in how do we guide our own experience as much as we can. So we're investing a lot in our own channel, apps, our website, et cetera. And that's something that we'll continue to do to build our brand, understanding that third-party delivery will always have a place in that too.
Of course, you have tremendous brand equity, and it has an aura of trust around it, which, when there's uncertainty going on, people flock to the things that they trust and the things that they know. So certainly there's a warmth that comes along with the, shopping from a brand like yours. Yeah. I'm curious, when you think of the digital landscape and how you target for consumers and where you spend to get consumers, how you think of the marketplaces and the third party.
Our strategy is not one of exclusivity with one specific marketplace. We believe that they all have a role and they have a very powerful ability to generate demand for the business. And then we continue to try to build our own organic channel. So we were, I think, relatively early in the dispatch game with you guys. Once you had that technology, that was really a big unlock for us. That channel has grown pretty significantly. We've added a mobile app and we've done some things to continue to refine it. In our minds going forward, that becomes the lead horse. We are actively testing self-delivery. So that's something that has been in the process actually pre-COVID as well. And so we just want to have the flexibility to service our guests however we think makes sense from a business model standpoint.
How about the menu between direct and indirect channels? Have you given thought, or have you limited the menu on indirect channels versus what you can buy on pfchennies.com?
Yeah, it's funny. So we started with a streamlined assortment on our third-party menus. And then I think with COVID, we've actually almost defaulted to that for the rest of our business. So functionally today, it's not really different. And I think that's kind of where we've landed. And I think that's just something we've learned through COVID, is we don't maybe need as much assortment as we thought we did. So that's definitely been a learning.
How are you thinking about differentiating direct versus indirect as you go forward, both with delivery and on-premise?
It's a very, very fun question, because I consider third-party delivery to be like your online shopping mall, right? There's times, I'm sure you experience the same, you're sitting at home, you're on the couch, you're watching a Netflix show or the nightly news, and you're like, what am I gonna have for dinner tonight? And you go to DoorDash, you go to Postmates, you go to Uber Eats, you go to Grubhub, you just have your full plethora of listings. You can have Thai food, you can have Mexican, you can have Italian. It's so, for us, it's about how do we continue to make the product or the experience at par with our third-party marketplace providers and provide it in an affordable fashion. It's no secret, in order to do business on third-party marketplace, you have to give away some commission. I mean, there's commission attached to that transaction, so we're obviously needing to raise our prices. They can also kind of beat us in the sense that they have the delivery pricing, right? People are doing DashPass, Postmates Unlimited. And so, I think the biggest challenge for us in this upcoming 2021 year is how do we figure out the delivery dispatch pricing model? How do we continue to make that product more affordable to our consumer? And how do we continue to communicate the benefits of that platform?
Are there things that you're thinking about digitally that kind of extend out to marketplaces?
There's other opportunities. I think for me, how do we figure out a way to integrate towards the top of the menu consideration set on a regular basis where we're not paying an arm and a leg for it, but there's high ROI on something like that? It's how do you get customers who are on those platforms to try your brand for the first time? So I think all the marketplaces have rolled out clever promotions to try to either do first-time delivery for free or 20% off your first order from a restaurant, sometimes a free menu item. So really trying to, cast a wider net for our customer base because people might not necessarily know El Pollo Loco. We've been a staple here in California for 40 years and other parts of the country for less. But, we want to make sure that we're top of mind and there's a lot of choice and we have to figure out through some of those promotions how to distinguish us and differentiate that choice.
I'm curious about your experience with the marketplaces, sort of pre-COVID, what's going on now?
Being a popular Miami brand, we were very early adopters of marketplaces. Like I'm talking about 2016, 2017. It was a pay-to-play decision for us. Okay, it's like, we got to do this, right? If we don't learn, we're going to be behind. And it's unfortunate because, the moment that you turn on third party prior to COVID, you saw an immediate shift in in-store dining going down.
When your guest is going to a marketplace, in a sense, you've been disintermediated, right? Like,
Absolutely.
They're your guest, but, now they're controlled by someone else.
Absolutely.
And theoretically, they can steer them to another brand. But do you think other restaurateurs who are using these marketplaces think about that disintermediation, or just say, oh, it's all incremental, these are new people, and they're not really looking?
I think the majority of them don't. They don't understand how precious data is in that relationship with the one-to-one relationships. They just think it's sales. And they do it for the sake of sales. But then what they don't know that little by little, right? Just like the hotel industry, as you know, little by little, all of these sales end up in the third party, in the marketplaces, and they're gonna go away from you. So we learned that quickly, early on, prior to COVID. And I'll give you a perfect example.
Yeah.
We did a test. We had Uber Eats and Postmates at the time, prior to their marriage. And we said, let's do a promotion in Uber Eats and let's see what happens to Postmates sales. Because if we do a promotion in Uber Eats, essentially we should get more Uber Eats guests and Postmates should stay the same. And they didn't. When you did that promotion in Uber Eats sales will go like this and Postmates sales will go like this. That's when we knew the guest was shopping around.
Yep.
The guest was looking at Postmates and looking at Uber Eats and finding the deals. And the guests did not care because they trusted both brands. They trust that Postmates is gonna get the food there and they trust Uber Eats is gonna get the food there. That was the aha moment. That's when we called you guys and said, we need dispatch. We need to do our own delivery and we need to shift people to our own delivery because they don't care. They're not loyal to Uber Eats or loyal to Postmates. They're loyal to the brand.
That's right.
They want our food.
So your guest information has been handed over to these third parties. I'm not talking about
competitor.
Right.
To my competitor.
Right, to your competitor. That's the question.
Absolutely.
That's the question. So tomorrow, one of these unknown Rails partners comes up with a Bob's Brazilian Kebabs.
Right.
And guess what? They have your guests.
And they know what
have
they're
their
ordering.
names. They know what they're ordering. They know what they'll pay. They know what time of day, what day of the week they're ordering. Does that scare you?
Absolutely. Absolutely, right? What stops them from being vertically integrated, right? Tomorrow they know that this specific zip code, the number one thing most ordered here is a kebab. And they can open up their ghost kitchen and just come up with a brand and start selling kebabs much cheaper than we do, right? Because they don't have to pay the 30%.
Exactly.
And that's why we're trying to extend our hospitality to sort of remind people of who we are. Delivery is not going anywhere. It's very convenient. It's just a matter of fact of how do we get it to a point where they are profitable and they don't need to charge us 30%, and we get the guests' data.
Yes.
Right? So that way it's not like a cutthroat business where we can be, scared that to lose our business from one day to the other.
Disintermediated from your guests.
Absolutely.
Yeah.